Food waste is one of the biggest issues of our time and one of the largest single contributors towards greenhouse gas emissions and climate change. So what if I could tell you that one of the solutions to food waste is actually pint-sized and truly delicious? I'm Rob Wilson, and I'm Chief Toaster at Toast Ale, where we brew our craft beer with fresh surplus bread that would otherwise go to waste. And with the equivalent to a slice of bread in every bottle and all our profits poured into charity to fight food waste, we think toast is the best thing since you know what. For the last few years, I've been the UK country director for an international organization called Ashoka. We look to identify and scale some of the most innovative and exciting solutions to social and environmental problems. I must have seen thousands of ideas over the years, and I've done my best to help wherever I can, and have even started some organizations of my own. And then 18 months ago, I got chatting to one of the change makers within the network called Tristram Stewart. Tristram is an international best-selling author, he's a campaigner, he's a social entrepreneur. He's pioneered the fight against food waste. And since he made it his life's mission, food waste has hit the global headlines. Even the Daily Mail are talking about food waste, so you know things are getting serious. And quite right too. 1/3 of the food that we produce in the world is going to waste. That's over 1 billion tons of food every year. And the worst culprit of them all is bread. 44% of the bread that we bake, we never eat. That's 1 million tons of bread. Charities feeding the hungry turn bread away because there's just too much of it. So Tristram and I were chatting, and he had what I thought was a simply genius idea. What if we could get wasted on waste? What if we could turn all that unused bread into beer? You see, he'd just returned from a trip to Brussels where he'd tried a beer called Babylon, brewed with bread. Called Babylon because the first ever beer recipe that's been discovered from 4,000 years ago has bread as one of the key ingredients. And of all the social enterprise ideas I'd ever heard, this was by far and away the most awesome. To be honest, he had me at beer. So let me quickly explain how you would make a typical beer. You mix hot water and malt in something called a mash tun, but just imagine a big saucepan. This creates a sugary liquid that you move over to a second container called a kettle. Called a kettle because you're going to boil that liquid with hops to give aroma and flavor. You move that liquid over to a third container called a fermenting tank. Imagine a third saucepan. You add yeast, you let the yeast work its magic, it ferments over the next couple of weeks, and you have beer. To create our bread beer, it's exactly the same process, but we replace about 1/3 of the malt in that original tank, the mash tun, with surplus fresh bread that would otherwise go to waste. So a team of us over the last 18 months, we've been using our loaf, and we founded the Toast business on 4 core founding principles. First and foremost, we want to create a beer that tastes fantastic. And we've been lucky enough to get the thumbs up from people like Jamie Oliver when it comes to taste. Second, we want to tackle bread waste head on. We want to brew as much of that bread that would otherwise go to waste as possible. And we source our bread from sandwich manufacturers, where the heel of a loaf of bread, the crust of a loaf, goes in the bin. It's surplus to requirements. That won't end up on your sandwich in the shops. The third thing that we do is that we communicate about food waste. Some of the facts and stats that I'm talking about today, we put those on our bottle. And the final thing that we do, we're super proud to pour 100% of our profits into the food waste charity Feedback, which is ending food waste at a systemic level. Tristram founded Feedback, and Feedback has changed government policy. They've launched consumer awareness-raising campaigns, such as eating wonky or ugly fruits and vegetables, and many other campaigns. And underpinning these 4 principles is our mission statement. We believe that if you're going to change the world, you have to throw a better party than the people and the corporations that are destroying it. And for us, there's no better way to get a party started than with great tasting craft beer. And we're lucky, our party's got off to a good start. So far, we've brewed and sold 100,000 beers. We've created a lager and an IPA to sit alongside our flagship pale ale, and we're stocked all over the country. But we're not done yet. Food waste is a global issue. And with Bread Beer, we believe we have a scalable, international solution. So we've open-sourced our recipe so that people can tackle bread waste at a local level and homebrew. We've collaborated with breweries all over the country to create new bread beers and tackle bread waste at a regional level. We've even started brewing our own toast beer as far away as New York, Cape Town, and Reykjavik. And so, before too long, we hope we can put ourselves out of business. You see, for us, our mission is to cut off our own supply chain. The day that there's no more waste bread to be brewed is the day that we can shut up shop and say mission accomplished. So let me conclude as chief toaster and invite everybody to raise a glass. Let's raise a toast to hope. Let's raise a toast to ending food waste. Cheers to that.